Today, we're going to talk about one of the most shocking cases in the automotive industry, the Great GM Tragedy. A defect that went unnoticed for years, but which ended up being responsible for hundreds of deaths. For those who don't know, GM is one of the biggest automakers in the world. However, in 2014, the company faced a crisis that shook consumer confidence and generated a series of lawsuits. All this because of a defect in its parts that caused the airbag and seat belts to deactivate. This problem eventually resulted in fatal accidents and left hundreds of families broken. After an investigation, it turned out that GM had been aware of the problem since 2001 but decided not to do anything about it. They just ignored the problem and continued selling cars with faulty parts. This scandal called into question the integrity of the company and sparked outrage among consumers. Fortunately, after years of legal battle, GM agreed to pay fines and damages to the victims and their families. In addition, the company has implemented measures to ensure that problems like this never happen again, such as the creation of an independent safety committee and the obligation to immediately report any defects in its vehicles. GM learned its lesson the hard way, but is now working to regain consumer trust. The importance of investing in quality and safety in any product that reaches the hands of consumers. And when we talk about cars, this responsibility is even greater, since we are talking about human lives. The Great GM Tragedy was a tragic example of how negligence can have serious consequences. It is therefore important for companies to take responsibility for their products and be transparent about any issues that may arise. In addition, consumers also need to be vigilant and demand that companies fulfill their duties to ensure product safety. We hope this video has been enlightening and helps raise awareness of the importance of consumer safety. And may the story of the GM tragedy always remind us that safety is not an option, but a must for all companies. The GM tragedy is a painful reminder of how negligence and lack of accountability can have devastating consequences. However, it is also a story of learning and change. GM acknowledged its mistakes and implemented measures to ensure that problems like this never happen again. But the lesson here is not just for GM, but for all businesses and consumers alike. Consumer safety should be the top concern of any company that brings products to market. And as consumers, we have the right to demand that companies fulfill their duties to ensure the safety of the products we buy. So remember the Great GM Tragedy, and use this story to remind yourself and others that consumer safety is everyone's business. Don't allow negligence and lack of responsibility to put your life at risk. Be a conscious consumer and demand the security you deserve.